camera, camera. Wow, this setup is just, we're getting elevated in this world, people, honestly. Welcome back to the table, everybody. This week I wanted to do something really simple. I feel like we are in a time where we all need like a good classic comfort meal, right? That's cheap and easy. So I was thinking about this the other day, and I really feel like vegetarian food is just cheap to make, right? And I wanted something comforting, something really almost like nostalgic too. I don't know why, but recently I've been having a lot of thoughts about going out to eat in the early 2000s. And if y'all weren't here for the early 2000s, it was like the peak time for chain restaurants. Like Olive Garden was popping, the Chili's was popping, Applebee's was popping. A lot of things were just, it was time. It was time to go out to eat and have a family of four eat for $84, okay? One of the things that I kept thinking about was chicken Alfredo. Well, there's two problems. One, I think everyone who loves chicken Alfredo truly does love chicken Alfredo, but I think they regret it immediately after eating it always. I kind of wanted to make a spin on that I think will keep my lactose sensitive friends a little more roped into this, right? And then I also wanted to make something that's cheap, easy. You can throw it together in less than 30 minutes, and it's good and it's filling. You can put a little side salad with it and live your life, you know? This ain't no unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks, mama. This is dinner. Okay? We're just making that real quick. So we're gonna give that a go today. What we're making today is actually like a cheesy mushroom cheese pasta with mushrooms and peas, right? So I wanted to add a little more oomph. I think you can add protein to it, right? But if you want to save some coin, just add some veggies to it. Mushrooms are super good for you and super cheap. And you can put a lot of them in there and chop them up real fine, and they'll sort of give you a little bit of that meaty texture. And then peas, it's like, what are they? Like, even in these times, they're like $1 a bag, maybe $1.29 if you're getting organic ones. We're gonna sauce some of those in there just for some color, for some greens. I thought about doing broccoli because I love like a nice broccoli moment in a pasta dish, but it's a little bit more expensive, right? We're trying to do cheap, easy, simple. I got my water already starting to boil. I have to salt it for the pasta. I'm also simultaneously making bagels. There are bagels in the oven right now, and this is just a personal thing because there's no time to make bagels. I want bagels though, so we had to do filming and making bagels simultaneously, okay? You get the best of both worlds here, right? So we're gonna start by chopping up our veggies, and we'll go from there, all right? Y'all ready? Take a seat. Let's hit it. There's not a ton of ingredients we're gonna need, right? We got, like I said, frozen peas, these mushrooms, this giant thing of mushrooms, right? This is not that expensive, and most grocery stores don't charge you that big of a difference if you want them chopped or pre-chopped or not chopped. You know what I'm saying. Should I just buy the other ones? Because they're never chopped enough. We need very chopped, okay? And then we're going to be using our big hunk of Parmigiano Reggiano. This is literally all your ingredients right here. This. It's a couple things. Oh, and pasta. This is my favorite salt for pasta water. I think it just really adds, I don't know, this is the light gray Celtic sea salt from Celtic Sea Salt. I just really like the flavor it adds. We're going to salt our pasta water. And then, I don't know if y'all know this, but I have some feelings about long pasta. I feel like there are only two appropriate types of this type of pasta. Well, I'm talking like long noodle pasta. I only like fettuccine and bucatini. That's it. Spaghetti, get her out of here. Okay? What is the point? It's not giving. I don't know why y'all keep buying it, but I can't stand her. Okay? She's not it for me. She's not the moment. I think she's a scam and I don't like her. Okay? Bucatini's my favorite. Angel hair, I see her moment, but I don't love her texture. Okay? You didn't see that. I just like to encourage my pasta to get her act together to fit in the pot. That's always how I've felt about her, because I know real Italian people will yell at you if you break your pasta, and I also like the long noodles. I don't know why you would break it. Just give it a minute. See? And then it all gets in there. You just give it a minute. We get into it. And then we're just cooking this till al dente, because we are going to move it over. Finish it over here. We're going to get out our big pan that we love hate, right? While this boils, how long? Do y'all listen to the box? I listen to the box. Some people find that insane. I don't always check it. That's a lie. I don't know, I just trust it. Why else would they put it on there? To lie to you? That would be crazy. Do you think Italian people would lie to you? Something to think about. Alrighty, so I always take the stalk part out of the mushrooms. You definitely can eat it, but for me, I think it just always ends up a little tough. I think it kind of cooks at a different rate than the rest of the mushroom, so we don't do her. I don't want it to be like overwhelmingly filled with stuff, right? You need a good balance of stuff to pasta. Alrighty, gonna get this on the heat just so it's ready for when I have finished chopping up these mushrooms. I like my mushrooms really small. I know a lot of people like the visual of them, but personally I feel like if you cut them up really small, they just always end up with a better texture cooked. And I think texture is really the thing that ends up bothering people about mushrooms a lot of the time. I think when they're not cooked to a certain like doneness, I think that really ends up bothering people. Honestly, most of the work of this recipe is chopping and grating. Okay? Chopping and grating is really the extent of what you gotta do here. And I do honestly recommend using like a big block of Parmesan cheese, because sometimes when you get those, like even like the pre-grated ones, I had been buying that for a while and I find that it just doesn't melt into stuff the way buying a whole block and then grating it more into like a fine, not like powder, but that sort of texture. You know what I mean? I find that tends to make better pasta sauces or melt into soups better. You want the flavor, but you're not trying to get the texture or that necessary, like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying. Maybe you don't. That's fine. But like I said, you could even still add the mushrooms and peas in here and then still add protein. I still think this would be good with chicken, like a nice light protein with this. I could definitely see how that would be delicious. Don't worry, y'all. Home stretch. I promise. Like I said, after this, we gotta chop an onion. If you're feeling bold or you don't buy pre-minced garlic, mince your garlic up too. This is the hardest part of our journey here. Okay, boom. Let's get some olive oil in the pan. She's nice and preheated. And we're gonna start by cooking a lot of the water out of these mushrooms, right? mushrooms tend to come with a lot of water in them. And that's why I think the texture of mushrooms sometimes gets a little funky, spunky. Oh, you ready? We sizzling, so now my audio is going to be janky, but you got to roll with it. I'm sorry. All right, that's going. Let's chop this onion. I've got about a half an onion here. It was already in my fridge that needs to be used. This is why I really like this meal, right? It's a lot of things that, like, personally, I already have in my fridge a lot of the time. So if you also cook a lot of my recipes or cook foods similar to what I post, these are things you'll have just sitting around, right? You can throw this together, something cheap and easy. Maybe you work late a lot of nights like I do. I love just being able to have something homemade, but something that is going to be done with minimal effort, right? I think the least I can ask myself, the most I can ask myself to do on a night after work is chop. Really. Alrighty. All that's done. Now we're gonna go, just keep an eye on everything here, right? And just like that, our pasta's done.
Your pasta timer is...
Oh my god, she's loud. Okay, pasta's done. This, I'm just giving a good stir. We're getting this cooking down. It already smells so good. We're gonna save some of the pasta water, right? So always think about this before you dump your pasta water. Think about how much you'll need. I always just take one of my heat safe measuring cups, dump it along the edge here. About a cup is good. So I'll just sit that back there. Now we're good to strain. And you can see how a lot of this still has some liquid in the pan. We're almost there. I'm going to put the garlic in, get her nice and fragrant, and then we're also going to season her, right? The other thing we got to do is grate some cheese. That's not, you can do it over the pan. Sometimes I like to do that because it's just one less mess to make, right? But you're going to be standing there for a hot minute, so if you're fine with that, do you. All right, we got salt, pep. At the end, I'm gonna do a little red pepper flakes, but for now, I'm just gonna do that and a touch of dried basil and oregano. Maybe like a half teaspoon of each. You also want to be careful. Do not over salt this. I'm gonna finish this with some fresh basil, but you don't want to over salt this because we're adding that Parmesan cheese, and Parmesan cheese is super salty. So if you don't think about that, in the end you'll end up, you salted your pasta water, you salted the actual insides, what am I saying, the like stuff that we put in this pasta, and then if you add Parmesan cheese on top of it, you're just gonna be, so be careful. I'm gonna add in a hefty spoon of minced garlic. I'm just gonna give this a stir, and now is the time. I'm gonna let this go for like 30 seconds, right? I don't want it to burn, and we still got some cook time here. All right, now we're gonna add in our pasta. Gonna get her nice and incorporated. This is now where we get into adding the cheese. I am gonna do the cheese now because I don't really want to do it if we add in the peas now, we're gonna run into a problem, right? Because we don't want the peas to get mushy, and when we're stirring it, we end up mushing them all around. That's not gonna be appetizing. So we're gonna really get into grating here. And while we do that, I'm just going to add in some pasta water to keep this nice and saturated while it's still on the heat, right? By just keeping this pasta water and Parmesan cheese, this is the part where I was saying this is going to be a bit more easy on your stomach, right? Because when you do a regular traditional Alfredo sauce, right? Which Alfredo sauce I'm pretty sure isn't Italian. You can let me know your thoughts on that. But if you do that, it's like heavy cream and cheese. You make a roux. You're basically making something very similar to the sauce you put in a mac and cheese, right? Because it's got so much butter and cream and cheese, I think a lot of the times a lot of our stomachs just can't take it. This is something that's going to give you the flavor, not necessarily that like deep cheesy texture that you're looking for, but something with a elevated flavor profile that gives you the same effect that honestly I think tastes better and won't be sending you to the bathroom for the next 2 days. Oh, you think we're done with the cheese? We're not done with the cheese, okay? That's where we're going in this world. Like how good does that look? Don't worry, this is my cardio for the day. I am honestly sweating. I would be lying to y'all if I didn't say that right now because the oven is going. This is on. We had both burners on earlier. I don't know why I chose to wear a sweater. And this is what I meant with like, it needs to be this kind of fine grated. It gets into these nice little shavings that just work so well into this pasta. Oh, she looks gorgeous. Okay. She's basically done. Oh, look. And now our bagels are done. Wow. Y'all ready for this? This isn't part of the video. Whoa! Okay, they might be a little overdone. They're a little dark. They're a little dark. Can you see them? They're a little dark. But I baked them longer because they're really big, but now they're a little crispy. It's fine. I'm experimenting with bagels. With this looking good, nice and coated and cheesy and delicious, we're gonna put our peas in. Taking it off the heat, because there will still be residual heat because I have stupid stove. And now we're just gonna add in our peas, right? And again, we're not gonna add in too much so it's like so overwhelmed with vegetables, but enough to give it color, enough to give it interest. Made a giant mess. And then we're just gonna let these warm through, right? Let it soak in all that cheesy goodness and let the peas break up a little bit. Oh my god, I can't think of what's that dish called with the pancetta and peas and Parmesan? That's what it's giving. You see that? Is it not giving that dish? Kinda is. Also, I don't know if y'all noticed, I did get a haircut and got my hair touched up. I'm just saying. If you didn't notice, now you did. Probably looks like not great right now because I'm sweating, but it's fine. This is my bagel experiment. The outside, I just cut one, even though it's hot. Is that bad? I think so. But they're super hot. So I'm gonna pick it up with the towel and show you. They're a little crispy, right? But the texture looks great. These are sourdough bagels. Look at the texture close up. She looks good. Steaming. Do you see that? Little bagel facial. I don't like bagels with big holes, so I make mine shaped like this so they'll look like this. They're really fluffy though. They're a little crunchy though. You know when they're gonna cool, they're gonna be too hard. They're good. Do you want some bagels? It's hot. A little too crunchy.
Part of me feels like that because sourdough is supposed to get a crust on it, so it's gonna be crusted no matter what on the outside.
That could be. Could be. Okay. Alrighty. Pasta's looking good. Let's plate her up and enjoy. Alrighty.
It looks really good.
Thanks. Do you like that? You know how they always like twist it at the restaurant? Do you think this is how much effort it takes?
I'm always convinced.
You gotta like really get in there.
Yeah, I'm convinced they do it with some weird special tongs. I just do.
I've seen videos of them doing it, and you know, they're very talented people. Oh yeah, that's a big bowl. We probably don't need that much. Oh, it's making it worse. Okay, we're going back. Okay.
To be fair, I've never had the style of pasta before I met her. I've always just had spaghetti.
Oh, we talked about the spaghetti beef. We talked about it. I'm just going to finish it off with a little extra parm. You put that over there?
Yes, please.
Thank you. And some red pepper flakes and a little bit of basil. Come see. All right. Taste test.
I like the way you can taste the mushrooms, and it has the peas in there too, so that's very nice. Doesn't get overshadowed by anything.
Yeah, I like that the actual mushroom flavor comes through, because it can definitely get shadowed out by like garlic and stuff, but it's not, which is good.
And the pasta is cooked very well. Reiterating, just listen to the box.
I don't know why. I just really trust these pasta boxes with my life.
But yeah, there's a nice balance of flavors. Nothing overpowers anything. The red pepper flakes are a nice touch. I like it.
Me too. Well, I hope you guys end up making this. Try it for an easy weeknight dinner, and let me know any thoughts of what you would put into this. Thank y'all so much for watching, for coming to the table once again, and we will see you at the table next week. Bye!